Woods. Here. Dr. Ashley Hodge, present. I know that Miss Victoria Castro Correa is on her way, and I'm assuming that Mr. Butts is as well. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is recommend that the governing board call for executive session pursuant to ARS section 38, 341-03A, 3 and 4 for legal advice. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. We will go into executive session and we will return.
form that you'd like to submit, if you can please hand it to me so that way it has to be submitted before we get started. Does anyone have a pink slip for public participation? No? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to follow the meeting in Spanish? Anybody here would like to follow the meeting in Spanish? If you'd like to follow the meeting in Spanish, we have Amy in the back table back over there, and she has the headphones. If you would like to use one, please feel free to pick them up. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read in Spanish. I said in English. A las personas que le gustaría seguir la junta en español, en la mesa de atrás con la señora Amy, tiene los audífonos para su uso. So we'd like to use a headphone to follow the meeting in Spanish. We do have the headphones at the back table with Amy.
Thank you for your patience. Is there a motion to adjourn executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Executive session closed. Good evening and welcome to our regularly scheduled board meeting. I now call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. You may be seated. Next item on the agenda is roll call, and I'll pass it to Maricela.
Thank you, Madam President. Roll call for this evening's regular meeting, April 1st, 2025. I will begin with Dr. Ashley Hodge,
Here.
Dr. Megan Frankowitz,
Here.
Ms. Tatiana Pena,
Here.
Mr. Michael Butts,
Here.
Ms. Victoria Castro Corral.
Here.
Madam President, we do have a quorum present for this evening's regular meeting.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 1.04. It's recommended that the governing board adopt the agenda. Items on the consent agenda may be pulled at this time. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Item 1.05 is recommended that the governing board approve the minutes held in the month of February 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is student outcome focused governance, and I will anchor you in our vision for the community. Give me 1 second. Do I have permission to share? Thank you so much for your patience. We had to do things a little differently. Okay, student outcome focused governance. Where's my other paper at? Hold on, I have a lot of papers up here. Okay. In 2023, the board embarked on a journey to align our framework at the board level with the incredible work that happens every day in the classroom with our students at the center. The entire RSD board is committed to engaging our South Phoenix community and gathering meaningful insight. Our vision is community united to create better futures for all through education. Student outcome focused governance is us improving student outcomes and achievement through research-based policymaking and decisions to increase learning outcomes based on the community's values and vision for the district. The school board will set the goals and the guardrails for reaching that vision. Through this framework, we have adopted board behaviors that emphasizes student outcome focused governance equal the board puts students first and success in every decision that we make. Through this framework, we have adopted board behaviors that emphasize synergy and teamwork to define our goals and vision. This approach helps us set clear targets for student outcomes, establish core values to identify our non-negotiables, and implement measures for progress and accountability to monitor where we are and where we're headed. Our ultimate aim is to enhance student success. Achieving these goals requires effective systems and processes, as well as your voice and advocacy and engagement. So student outcome focused governance in action means that 60% of our time spent in board meetings is on student outcomes. The board adopts a budget that prioritizes adopted goals and guardrails. The superintendent evaluation is focused on adopted goals and guardrails. Board conduct is rooted in guardrails, RSD community collaboration, and collective vision. And we have a responsibility to increase our two-way communication regarding goals and guardrails. And we want alignment from the classroom to the living room. The academic goals that we adopted is 45 and 5. So the first goal is the percent of fourth grade students that scores meets grade level or above on the AASA ELA will increase from 20% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. The second goal is the percent of fifth grade students that score meets grade level or above on the AASA math will increase from 11% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. The third goal, the percent of seventh grade students that scores meets grade level or above on the AASA ELA will increase from 22% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. And the last goal is the percent of eighth grade students that score meets grade level or above on the AASA math will increase from 12% on August 2023 to 45% by August 2028. And so we also have guardrails for ourselves. And so guardrail number 1 is healthy board conduct and discourse. Guardrail number 2 is having board operating procedures. Guardrail number 3 is student outcome focused decision making. Guardrail number 4 is financial integrity. And guardrail number 5 is community engagement. And this is how we agreed to govern ourselves. And our superintendent also has guardrails. So guardrail number 1 is in attaining the board's student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not go without proactively sharing updates and plans on the budget or enrollment that will change the current landscape and stability of our district to stakeholders, including board members, students, parents, staff, and community members. Number 2, in obtaining the board's student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not fail to consider the climate survey results to ensure a holistic approach to student development. Addressing academic, social, emotional, and physical well-being, which includes after-school programming and wraparound services. Guardrail number 3, in obtaining the board's student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not allocate district budget resources in a manner that does not prioritize and support student outcome-focused goals, ensuring that the financial decisions directly contribute to the academic and development success of all students. Guardrail number 4, in obtaining the the board's student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not fail to implement and maintain effective strategies for the retention and development of teachers, including promoting from within to ensure that they have a positive impact on students as evidenced by data. And the final guardrail for our superintendent is in attaining the board's student outcome goals, the superintendent shall not fail to ensure progress toward exiting ATSI and CSI status, which ensures that students with special needs and English learners and African Americans receive equitable access to high-quality instruction, resources, and supports tailored to their unique needs to promote their academic success and overall development. So as a parent, student, community member, or part of our staff, you can join our board meetings monthly, every first Tuesday, to share feedback, share your voice, hold us accountable to our board, hold us accountable to our goals and guardrails that we adopt, build partnerships and collaboration that helps moves our students forward. And also, I want to invite you to our study session on April 18th, where we'll be discussing our two-way communication, which is how we're going to come to the community and inform you of all of our goals. We'll take a deeper dive. And so that's what we'll be talking about at our next study session, and we invite you to attend. The next item on the agenda is a celebration, which is guardrail number 2, our sports. So I read to you what our superintendent guardrail number 2 was. And so today we're going to celebrate in both mind and body our students. I'll pass it on to Dr. P.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, executive team, and Roosevelt community. We're excited to celebrate our students and our guardrail number 2, which is educating the whole child. And with that, I would like to invite Coach Marvin Pettit, who is our PE teacher at Campbell and also moonlights as our district athletic director.
Sorry. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Portillo, and the executive team. As a district sports coordinator, I am honored here to be tonight to celebrate the incredible accomplishments of our student athletes. Their dedication, perseverance, and teamwork have led them to remarkable achievements, and it is a privilege to honor them in front of our district leadership. First, I would like to recognize the Southwest Cheer Squad, who earned first place at our district cheer competition on January 18th. Representing Southwest tonight, we have Aaliyah, Mila, and their coach, Miss Ringao. Thank you for being here, Southwest. Next, for esports, I would like to recognize the esports teams from Conchos who had some outstanding performances this season. First, we had Matthew from Conchos who demonstrated impressive skill and strategy, winning the Super Smash Bros. Tournament on February 11th. Following Matthew's achievement, we have Conchos' Rocket League team consisting of Vincent, David, and Luis. They showcased their teamwork and precision, securing first place in the Rocket League tournament on February 13th. Representing Conchos tonight, we have David, Luis, and Coach Ashida. Thank you.
What can I help you with? Just one? What would you like me to do?
For the place right here. We did our esports tournament virtually, so they weren't able to get their trophies beforehand. Thank you, Conchos, for being here tonight. Lastly, I want to recognize the track team from Davis who demonstrated speed, endurance, and determination to take first place at our district track meet on February 22nd. Representing Davis tonight, we have Noel, Arturo, Chloe, Julian, and their coaches, Mr. Saley and Mr. Stanback. That's it.
Coach.
Thank you, Davis, for being here.
We got one more. We got East, yes, Dr. Patillo's got.
Oh,
Do,
spelling bee?
Yeah.
Madam President, members of the board, executive team, and Roosevelt community, we also want to celebrate with guardrail number 2, our spelling bee winners. And with that, I would like to invite Ms. Elizabeth Sousa.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Portillo, executive team, and members of our community. My name is Elizabeth Sousa, and I'm a district reading coach. And tonight I'm here to celebrate with you the 4 students who demonstrated excellence at our district spelling bee. Each of our schools held classroom and school spelling bees to identify their top 2 spellers, and those top 2 spellers were then invited to the district spelling bee. After many rounds of tough competition, the 4 students here tonight earned their spots to represent our school district in the regional spelling bee. We are all so proud of their hard work and dedication, and we know that these traits will follow them far in life. Please join me in celebrating our spellers. From Sunland and Jorgensen, we have Javier Espinoza. From Ignacio Conchos, we have Ethan Galindo Casas. From Clovis Campo, we have Daniel Ray. From Cesar Chavez, we have Carlos Reyna.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Portillo. Members, please return to your areas. If you would be so kind. And then also parents at this time, if you'd like to have photo session with your babies, your loved ones and family in the hallway as you entered, there's a nice backdrop. Feel free to do that at this time. And we want to thank you for trusting us with your babies. See you soon. Thank you.
Whether it's a championship trophy or a spelling bee medal, each of you have demonstrated excellence. Keep striving, keep shining, and keep making us proud. Did any other board members want to make a comment? Good. Right. Hearing none. Next item on our agenda is goal number 1 and interim goals 1.1 and 1.2. Just a reminder, goal number 1 is a percent of 4th grade students that scored meets grade level or above on the AASA ELA will increase from 20% on August 23rd to 45% by August 2028. The interim goals are designed to measure progress toward our board academic goals. It is the board's responsibility to submit questions to the administrative team prior to the board meeting to ensure that the team has time to answer questions, but there will also be questions that were not sent to the administrative team asked during this portion of the meeting. With that said, I'll pass it on to Dr. Portillo.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, executive team, and Roosevelt community. We are about to present on goal number
Can you
1.1.
speak into the mic, please? We
I'm
can't hear
sorry.
you. Thank you.
Goal number 1.1 and 1.2. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Nicholas Oviedo to the stand.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Portillo, Deputy Superintendent Battle, and executive team, thank you for having me here to share updates on progress towards goal 1. There we go. Just going to try to see if I can zoom this out a little bit, get it all on the screen. Okay, so I had half of a mind to have an April Fool's joke where it showed our data tanking, but I know this is like a public document, probably wasn't the right place, but you can just imagine, Will wasn't here either, so that was the other thing that was holding me back. The data is actually going up. That I know that you have all seen this, but to also share with our community members, this we have seen before. This is our second time going through it, but for those who are seeing this for the first time, just a reminder that 2021, 2020 obviously represented COVID and a lot of progress that we have made since then and over the last 2 years that we are at 21%. For our board, I know that we want to make sure that we are headlining the headline, and our headline is that these fourth grade numbers are not on track. However, we are seeing, as you can see, an increase in progress when you look at STAR. So we are looking at trying to achieve 28% by the spring of 25. And our winter benchmark was 24.5%. Our February, our most recent data is 23.6%. I'll say this a couple of times because it'll come up. We as a district think about benchmark and progress monitoring data. Our benchmark data is fall or the beginning of the year, winter or December, and the end of the year, spring. Our sites are also doing progress monitoring, and we're really striving for once a month. But the progress monitoring and the benchmark data are going to be a little different, and I'm going to speak to that. We'll get to this too. I also mentioned in the headline that for 1.1, we have really strong first grade early literacy data. We'll also talk about our second grade data, which is currently not on track to meet 1.2, interim goal 1.2. Okay, when we think about our growth and proficiency rate, so just a reminder of what we're looking at here on page 2, our school population proficiency. This is just fourth grade. This is December, again, mid-year data, but we also are going to talk about our most recent data as well. But again, this is our most recent benchmark data, which is why we show this. So you have your proficiency rate, the percentage of students who are at proficiency, or more specifically, this is what the STAR test is saying. Students are on track to be proficient on AASA. It's meant to be a predictor. And then also you have the growth average. So this is students' SGP scores, their standard growth percentile score, and taking the average of all the students in that grade level at that school. And a very simple way, since SGP is a complicated measure, I always think about it as speed. And my sports analogy today is race car or NASCAR, so I know I'm going to lose everybody today. But proficiency rate is, you can think of as the position in a car race, and growth average is the speed that they're going, or their top speed. So for schools that have a very high growth average, you can predict that they are on track to move up in proficiency. So I've been watching a lot of Cars 3 with my kids, and Jackson Storm has a better top speed than Lightning McQueen in Cars 3, and inevitably passes Lightning McQueen and is outperforming Lightning McQueen. So if the NASCAR didn't get you, hopefully Cars 3 and Pixar movies works for you. Okay. I also want to look at our student population proficiency with our district numbers. I'm going to leave our district number there. So if I'm looking at this, I think what would stand out to me is anytime I see a growth average in the 30s, that's going to be a little on the low side, especially when the district average is 43 right now. So just kind of calling to attention our American Indian or Alaska Native population. Although it's a very small sample size, I still think it's noteworthy. And then obviously the proficiency is low there too. Conversely, where we have for synergy, they use the term multiple. So this is typically more than one race or ethnicity. The growth average is low, but the proficiency is very high. So I would be not as concerned with that, just seeing that proficiency number. And then finally, at the bottom of page 2, I always like to do my flavor of the month is looking at our first grade early literacy proficiency and growth scores. Early literacy, just as a reminder, is taken by our kindergarten and first grade students. Our reading test is 2nd through 8th grade. Reading is more of a standard comprehension test. Early literacy looks at foundation skills, so that'd be phonics, letter names, so that the tests are different. These are our top schools in terms of proficiency, and you can also see the growth average on the far right, as well as our district averages and percentages. So we're going to get down to our interim goal, and you can see our December percentage right here is 45.6%. And I'm going to scroll so that we can see interim goal 1.1. And I think that that is of note because obviously 45% is our big number. So when we're at a number anywhere that's at 45%, I think that that is noteworthy and certainly a celebration. All the way back to kindergarten last year, we were really highlighting this kindergarten cohort and how well they were doing on some of our district CFAs, and now continuing to do well on our STAR early literacy. Again, you see a dip. There is a dip for what I'm calling February or some of our most recent data. But we also saw a dip last year, and that number went up. So almost imagine just kind of, I don't want to say throwing out, because this data does matter, but the line actually makes a lot of sense except for that February data. So I would still be, I don't want to say hopeful, but I'm still would be tracking towards May data for first grade. That would be at or above 45.6%. Again, this is not to make an excuse, but progress monitoring is just administered differently than our benchmarks. For our benchmarks, we're really intense about getting to 95%, the test environment, and certainly this is something that we want to look at for next year, and we actually are looking at that on the assessment calendar plan to make sure that when we are doing these tests, especially for the data that we're going to show, that it's being administered as consistently as possible. And so we're thinking about that right now. But again, I would take more stock in our benchmark data, the August, December, and May data. And then this was a request of the board that our school population proficiency by site, and we've included the growth average numbers for each site as well. I say January to March here, just because I didn't just take February. I kind of like took a little bit into January and then a little bit into March. And so that allowed me to get more students, because when we do it that way, it just gets any student's last test. So if they took a test more than once there, it just got their last test. So just to give us a little better data. And again, interim goal 1.2. This one, I would say we're not seeing as much growth, obviously, as we saw for first grade. And this is a little bit more in line with last year. So this cohort is tracking the same as last year's second grade cohort. So based on that, you could probably expect something similar here. I will also say that this cohort of second graders, their growth score is a little bit lower than last year's cohort of second graders. And again, I have the second grade proficiency for you. Again, I believe this was a request. This put us up to 5 pages on the report now, but this is good data to see by sites here. And then finally, second to fourth grade star reading. So at the end, I usually try to combine a kind of band of grade levels at a school. This kind of helps you to see a little bit more of a trend at each site as opposed to just one grade level. And again, it has the growth average, our percentage of proficiency across the district, and then our growth average. And again, this is more recent data, so data that has students who have tested after December. One last thing, I want to scroll up to the top again and just address a question. This came from Dr. Hodge about predicting 23% for fourth grade star proficiency in the spring. And I would say that that would be correct, specifically for ASA. That's kind of what I would be tracking at too. So Dr. Hodge, thank you. You're going to run me out of a job. Please don't. I was just kidding. I would expect our spring 25 star data, based on what we see here on this trend, to be really based on the growth data, maybe even as much as 24%. I would say somewhere between 23, 24%. And you can see last year that our spring 2024 data for STAR really tracked well with what we ended up with in ASA. So this was a really accurate predictor of AASA success, which is what makes STAR so valuable. And with that, I can come to the bottom of page 4 to get to what is working, what needs more attention. Dr. Portillo, I'm happy to defer to you or speak to some of this.
Yeah, thank you. And because the area was reading, I'd also like to invite Elizabeth back up. So what is working? What we've been doing that has been working and is showing us evidence of strong results, thank you, Dr. Hodge, is the implementation of the science of reading. So as you all know, over the last 2-3 years, 3 years specifically, but really at full throttle, we've been implementing the science of reading. So having all of our teachers trained in the lower grades on letters is something that we see, as you can see in that first grade data, kindergarten and first grade have been able to benefit from being receiving instruction under teachers that have been trained in letters. And what we see is more growth there. Right, so that's something that we think is working. As we're exposing other teachers and other grade levels to that training, we do anticipate being able to accelerate some of that growth, and we recognize that the growth in the other grades isn't where we want it to be yet. So we'll continue to provide letters training. The other thing that is working is also the retention and our development of our instructional coaches, and then ensuring that they're also going to be supported in training, as well as in HMH, we revised our structural literacy resource. So we purchased another add-on to our HMH adoption, which focuses much more heavily in the lower grades on phonics. So we see that that's working based on the evidence that you saw that that first grade is so much stronger. And I know you've seen our early literacy data in kindergarten and other meetings, as well as teachers applying that science of reading training in their actual reading blocks. Is there anything that you'd like to add to that, Ms. Sousa? Okay. All right. All right. So what needs more attention and what is our action plan? So we recognize that one of the things that needs more attention is to continue to develop all of our instructional coaches. We are going to be revising the RSD curriculum pacing guides this summer after we finished all of our assessments, so that we can ensure that kids have exposure to all of the standards that will be assessed on the AASA next year. And then also we want to develop our 4th and 5th grade teachers even further. And just want to remind you that we are changing our master schedule to be departmentalized. That means that our 5th grade and up, our teachers will be either math teachers and or reading teachers, so they'll be able to focus more so on less things and become stronger at that. And then our action plan if you don't mind scrolling a little bit. So one of the, so we found three things here that we really wanted to highlight in our action plan. One is the ELA plans. So we currently are having our teachers engage, we have had our teachers engage in unit planning. And doing a lot of the unit planning in their PLTs. This summer, we'll have teachers that we will select and interview and select to lead that unit planning, and then utilize the Ashlock priority reading plans, which is actually on the agenda today for recommended approval, so that they are able to focus more so on the creation and the adapting of their lesson plans to the class that they have before them. For the other grades, the upper grades, what we'll be doing in the summer is that we're going to be then interviewing and bringing in teachers to create the ELA plans for those older grades. And then the teachers in their PLTs won't be working on unit plans as much during the year. They'll be working more so on the actual lesson plans. Also, our consultant, Jennifer Ashlock, will be conducting Reading Summer Academy training for those K-5 teachers on how to utilize those priority reading plans. So they'll be observing exemplary lessons so that they could see and watch a model of delivering those lessons and how they might adapt them as they are planning for the students that are in front of them. Also, we want to continue to grow our principals and our instructional coaches. So we'll also be training them on the reading plans. Principals don't need to know them as to the same level. Of course, our practitioners are teachers. And then our reading coaches, of course, will get differentiated training because they need to know them even better and be a step ahead of our teachers. And we will continue then to work on analyzing the impact of our reading intervention materials. And knowing that we will create a resource chart based on those students' needs. We do have, as a result of reinventing Roosevelt, we're able to maintain one additional teacher on every campus to work on RTI, response to intervention. So we'll be also onboarding those new intervention positions and creating systems with them and structures to ensure that that tier 2 intervention is resulting in yielding in accelerated growth for all of the grade levels. And then also we will be prioritizing the data conversations in one-on-ones or grade level meetings, providing guidelines for the instructional coaches and working that into their actual schedule. Anything else you want to add to that, Ms. Sousa?
Sure. Just to reiterate and rephrase in a different way, starting with Mr. Oviedo's point. I'm sorry. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, executive team, Dr. Portillo, members of the community. To reiterate what has already been shared in a different way, starting with assessment, when we think about our second grade data that we are looking at here, we received a question about the dip that is seen from first grade to second grade. Mr. Oviedo touched on that the STAR reading assessment starts in second grade and is a comprehension assessment. Well, if you have second grade or students older than that who still have word recognition gaps or skill deficiencies, that test isn't alone going to diagnose those. And so we're having conversations now about what does that look like for students who are scoring at that beginning reading level on the STAR reading assessment, whether that's administering the STAR early literacy assessment to see those phonics and phonological awareness gaps, as well as administering the CBM or the curriculum-based measures or reading fluency measures, just to give us a better picture. Tying that data to some systems we already have in place with our CST or child study team, bringing that information to the coordination care team, and then tying in our new staff member for the response to intervention, making sure that there are many minds together to try to help students in a quick prognosis and fast data cycle to determine the interventions, implement the interventions, and come back and check that progress to hopefully get students moving faster than we already do. We're very lucky that we have quite a few resources, but we are streamlining our systems and almost coming up with a flow chart of if you have this, if you have a student with this data or this skill gap, then what? What do you do? Just so we can really solidify our systems across the district.
Thank you. Madam President, you all keep us on our toes and have submitted questions. So we want to also invite Ms. Erica Sander to the podium. And between all of us, we are going to tag team to answer some of the questions that were submitted. So Ms. Victoria Castro Corral asks, what instructional strategies and intervention are we utilizing to ensure that progress on ARM Goal 3.1, which is increasing STAR ELA benchmark scores, translates into measurable gains toward April's target goal, number 1? So between all of us, yeah, anyone who wants to add to that.
Good evening, Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Portillo, and executive team and community. So for this specific question, for what instructional strategies and intervention are we utilizing to ensure the progress on interim goal 3.1, we wanted to touch base on a few key bullets. The first one is our data-driven instruction. And so for us, one way that we can do this is teachers are using benchmark and progress monitoring assessment data to identify skill gaps and tailor instruction accordingly. Cite professional learning communities, analyze student performance trends, and adjust lesson plans to address areas of need. 2 specific examples of that actually today. I had the opportunity to visit 2 sites, Bar and Sunland, and their data speaks to they have high growth and as well as proficiency. And in their PLTs, they had students, student work in front of them, and they were analyzing it. What did the students master versus what do they still need to work on? And then what are they going to do about it? So some of the conversation was, if it's more than a certain percentage, the whole class has to be retaught during tier 1 versus is this something that we're just going to poll small groups? So I was very, very proud. I know a lot of our admin and our instructional coaches work very hard for that student work protocol. The other one we wanted to highlight are targeted interventions. Students who are not meeting proficiency levels receive additional support through small group instruction in both reading comprehension strategies and skills, as well as word recognition and phonics instruction as needed. And we are leveraging research-based intervention programs like SIPS and Lexia to reinforce foundational literacy skills, comprehension strategies, and writing proficiency. At Sunland today, they actually were looking at progress monitoring data for specifically ELA, and they had a graphic organizer where they were filling out, these are the students who are currently struggling based on their most recent progress monitoring, and then how are they going to attack it and support their students moving forward. So that's one way that they really look at interventions specifically for their specified intervention block. For the other bullet we want to highlight is differentiation and scaffolding. Our lessons are designed with multiple entry points to ensure all students can access grade level content. Teachers use scaffolding techniques such as building background with multimedia, graphic organizers and thinking maps, sentence stems, and model text to support struggling readers and writers. And last one is consistent progress monitoring, and we can speak to this on various levels. As you saw tonight, we do ask sites to progress monitor once a month, but in addition to that, they also utilize other like phonics screeners and other assessments on a daily basis in order to get that instant feedback. So formative assessments such as exit tickets, running oral fluency records, and common grade level content assessments are developed by teachers and used to track student progress regularly. By maintaining a strategic focus on these instructional strategies, interventions, we are ensuring that gains on interim benchmarks lead to sustained and measurable progress, toward our April ELA targets. Any additional questions?
Madam President, can I just jump in with a follow-up question? And first, I just want to own that I, as a board member, did not do my due diligence and submit my questions ahead of time. So if this is coming to you without proper preparation, then that's on me. Specifically thinking about our English language learners and our ESS populations, those are the two populations that have the lowest proficiency currently. Can you speak? I appreciate the overview you're giving about the intervention, the progress monitoring. Can you speak specifically to how those two subgroups are receiving intervention, or any specific considerations that are happening for those two specific groups given their low proficiency rates?
Absolutely. And I invite Elizabeth to come up as well. So this year, specifically for our students who are English language learners, we the governing board this previous summer adopted and purchased a curriculum for specifically called Language Power. And so students who do receive services, they do have a specified curriculum that they receive training on. And then during their intervention block, they do receive specific language power. Anything else you want to add to language power?
Sure. So you touched on it, but in their intervention block, that's their targeted EL instruction. So they're receiving at their language proficiency level, whether it's in grade bands of K2, 3, 5, or 6, 8. And then within that, there are pre-emergent, emergent, basic, or intermediate curriculum resources that teachers can use to support all areas for EL. There's a lot of overlap between the ELP standards and the ELA standards. So it is very similar to what students need in their ELA intervention as well, but targeted specifically to grow their language needs as well. Then within their reading block, or their core grade level reading, that's what we call their integrated intervention. And that's where students receive their core instruction at their grade level with scaffold and differentiation as needed to help them access the content. And then did you want to talk about ESS? Okay, our ESS students for Tier 3 within their resource classrooms or other special programs have used the 95% group phonics program, which I have heard is awesome, and our resource teachers love it. That specifically helps with that word recognition piece of phonics. So when you have students K5 or beyond that have gaps in their phonological awareness, phonics, and sight recognition, that's where the 95% group really comes in. They have additional resources like Words Their Way, depending on what the student's goals are on their IEP, but each student, whether they are EL subgroup or ESS subgroup, has a variety of resources at the teacher's disposal to tailor instruction.
And to add to that, sorry, go ahead.
No, perfect. Can I just say this back to you to make sure I'm understanding for the ESS? I'm familiar with the 95% phonics piece. For the EL intervention, can I just say this back to you to make sure I'm hearing it correctly? The targeted intervention where EL students are receiving their language intervention is happening during the block when non-EL students are receiving their reading intervention.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
If I might, Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Portillo, exec team, and community, we don't want to overspeed what we plan to do because we just received our audit. And so you will get more information as to how efficient we are doing both the targeted and the integrated model. So I just want to make sure I call that out for right now. What Ms. Sosa has described is exactly the plan. So we're looking to see how we're using all strategies with fidelity.
All right. Also submitted by Ms. Castro Corral, how are teachers being supported to effectively bridge the gap between STAR ELA growth and AASA ELA proficiency?
Thank you. Great question. To effectively bridge the gap between ELA growth and ASA ELA proficiency, I can specifically speak to an example I saw today at Sunland. And so what they did is there is in STAR, there is a report called Growth and Proficiency, and it's split into 4 quadrants. And so when students have either high growth, high proficiency, Nick, you might have to help me on this one, high growth, low proficiency, high proficiency, low growth, or low in both. And so what they do, thanks to the training from Nick and from his department, our teachers are pulling those reports now. And so they're looking at which students can we target. So at Sunland today, they specifically looked at that report, looked at which kids are falling into the low proficiency, low growth, and they created a plan. And so that was a quick pivot for them just based on their most recent But in addition to that, we're providing comprehensive support for teachers through targeted professional development, instructional coaching, and strategic curriculum adjustments. I can speak last week during our principal instructional coach meeting, our ESS department provided professional development to our site admins on strong instructional effective strategies to meet the needs of our students who do receive specialized services. For professional development for teachers, we are engaged in ongoing PD sessions focused on effectively analyzing student data at multiple levels. The sessions offered include improving comprehension, vocabulary acquisition, and writing skills, ensuring alignment with AASA expectations. Participating teachers have received targeted professional development on student engagement strategies, the science of reading, and effective instructional strategies for teaching in a multi-age classroom. For instructional coaching, our instructional coaches provide a variety of job-embedded support through coaching cycles, which include classroom observations, modeling lessons, and co-teaching opportunities. They may engage in coaching opportunities where they whisper coach. So while the teacher is in the classroom, the instructional coach will come up and whisper in their ear to provide that instant feedback to them so that they can grow stronger. Our RSC instructional coaches work alongside teachers to refine instructional practices, implement high-impact strategies, and differentiate instruction based on student needs. Our coaches participate in learning walks at their sites where they gather data with the admin team to identify trends and implement action steps. One example was at Pastor last week. Ms. Gaston and myself with Ms. Acosta and her team visited every single classroom. We were there a full day. Based on what we observed, they created a plan short term of, okay, so now how do we support our teachers moving forward? And it was very, very powerful. So the plan can provide professional development, which Pastor's plan does, because they were able to identify the gap. They know what they need to work on systemically. Instructional coaches also have been provided targeted test preparation for teachers on integrating AASA style questioning techniques into daily lessons, emphasizing critical thinking, text-based responses, and multi-step problem solving. And during last week's district learning walks, on Tuesdays, the executive team, as well as myself and Lynette Wright, we go to schools and we walk classrooms. We spend time with our administrators. And we observed having students to complete the AASA practice assessment. So they are familiar with the tools and how to navigate the test so that it really is not a matter of, is it not because they are confused by the technology, but they're ready for it. And then one seventh grade class was writing argumentative essays online while requiring students to use two teacher provided texts as a source of evidence. Anything else?
So I'm going to take a stab at the last Dr. Hodges' last three questions. So are we projecting that fourth grade will be at 23% at the end of the school year? And Mr. Oviedo said that yes, we are between 23 and 24%. So that is not as much, well, it's relatively flat and not as much growth as we have seen in our other grade levels. I think I know that one of the reasons is because the students have not had the opportunity to benefit yet as much from teachers being in ELA training and all of the science of reading that we've been doing and pushing. As a reminder, our letters training takes approximately a 2-year cycle for our teachers to go through. So it's a significant investment in time and resources for those teachers and sub-coverage. So we do see faster growth, and that connects back to question number 2 is what is working with our first graders that is not working with our second graders. So one of the things that's working great with our first grade students is that focus again on phonics and phonemic awareness. And we know that with our second graders, the teachers just haven't had as much time in the training and the resources, and the students haven't had as much time to benefit from that. Another thing is, as we look at our second graders, we know that many of them still have significant phonics gaps. So as we do our phonics screeners, we're finding that. And that's why we are are really fortunate and thankful that you all approved for us to have that additional teacher to be pulling those intervention groups for this upcoming year so that we can accelerate the growth of our students as they will be third graders next year. So we have to start planning for the following year. They not only have significant phonics gaps, but we also know that they need to become more accurate and more automatic or have greater fluency. So we have a lot of work to do with that group in order to be able to get them caught up to where we want them to be on our interim goals. And let's see, the next question. Anything else you think I'm missing, ladies or gentlemen? Okay, and then how can we make progress faster? And again, implementing letters K3 and actually continuing to push our teachers in training this summer. One of the items, again, for your approval today is an opportunity for them to choose what works best in their summer family schedule, 3 different options for them to go to training on how to use those they're not called templates anymore. Priority plans. They've changed name. So the priority plan. So we recognize that we're also very fortunate that our board has adopted such a comprehensive reading adoption and all these different resources to support them. But it's so many materials that those priority reading plans will really be able to have them prioritize and then adapt based on the assessment results of the students before them. So again, providing these 3 opportunities for the teachers to participate in that training, which I believe is 5 days, right, Elizabeth? A 5-day training this summer is going to be important. Also, we already have had our principals participate in 2 sessions of training, and they'll continue to be in that training so that they also are able to know what it looks like, what it should look like when done well in the classroom, and be able to provide that feedback alongside the instructional coaches. We know that they are the instructional leaders and we want to invest in them as well. Anything else I missed, team? No? Okay. Any other questions that you all might have? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And no, Mr. Obieta, I do not want your job. You're so good at it. We'll just leave you to do that because you're the expert. The next item on our agenda is public participation. And we do have some public comment. So I'll read the ammunition. Personal attacks upon board members, staff personnel, or other persons in attendance or absent by individuals who address the board are discouraged. Presenters are conscious that statements or representations concerning others that convey an unjust or unfavorable impression may subject the presenter to civic action for defamation. And I will call the first person to the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak, and Maricela will set a timer. Ms. Liliana Hutchison.
Good evening, President of the Board, members of the Board, Superintendent, Executive Team, and community members. My name is Liliana Hutchison. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible impact that Superintendent Dr. Portillo has had on parent engagement in Roosevelt School District. Under her leadership, we have seen a true commitment to creating spaces where parents feel valued, heard, and empowered. Because of this, we now have a strong, dedicated parent leaders who are actively involved in shaping the success of the schools and students. This level of engagement is a testament to the importance of collaboration between families and the district. And it's something truly special here in Roosevelt. Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Portillo, by fostering this culture of partnership and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Mr. Jeff Zitino. Okay. It's a 10 though. Yes.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Portillo, and members of our community. My name is Jeff Cetino. I'm the Vice President for Policy and Advocacy with All in Education, and I'm making remarks today representing the organization and also myself as a community member. I just wanted to start off by saying that leadership matters. Leadership is the defining factor that we see across the state when we see improving school districts. And I commend this district for having such an amazing cadre of leadership, from the school board to the superintendent to the cabinet and down to the principals and teachers. My comments are towards Superintendent Portillo, but I think one part of leadership is being able to build a strong team. And the team that she's built and the relationship that she has built and fostered with the board is truly commendable. As we look at all literacy and math proficiency rates across the state, we are in a crisis. But what we see in South Phoenix is that it's a district that's on the rise, that it's improving. And we see the dedication from the board and the superintendent and everybody within the community to make sure that we turn these literacy and math proficiency rates around. Her leadership, not only within the community, but nationally, and her involvement with everything that we see on the ground is truly commendable. And I just want the board to know that we are in deep debt to Dr. Portillo's leadership. The future of our kiddos and our babies are dependent on your decisions today. And I hope that you guys take these comments into account when you deliberate the extension of her contract. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Ms. Darlene Jackson.
Have to remember, like, how to acknowledge everyone. This is my first time doing this. So good evening, Madam President, Dr. Portillo, Dr. Battle, because I look, executive members of the board and the community. Did I get it right? All right, yay. So my name is Darlene Jackson. I represent an organization called Future Framework, in which we focus community development on the child. But I'm also here as a community member, as Jeff also said. I am extremely impressed with Dr. Portillo, her recruiting Dr. Battle, because I heard the behind story. You are a queen, Dr. Portillo. I've seen you wear your crown and your makeup be flawless. When the crap hit the fan, you stayed focused, you stayed honorable to who you are, and you respected those even when they attacked you. In doing that, you won my heart and my support. You kept your word. You said after we get through this storm, they're going to see a better Roosevelt School District. We see that, and I'm bragging about it. I think your leadership is vital to this community, to the economic development of this community, and to the future of our children. I commend you. I am proud of you. She came to, because she doesn't just work here, she works in the community. I also am a member of South Mountain Village Planning Committee. She is there more than I am. I had to take some time off because I had school, and she was there routinely. And when she first came to introduce herself, she said, I live in a community that when I go to their schools and I look at their ground areas, she said they're green. She said, I want the same thing for our school, every last one of them. And if you hear the development of the Reinventing Roosevelt School District, it is happening. We're talking about new furniture. We're talking about infrastructure being improved. We're talking about an increase in teacher salary. We're talking about ways to get more teachers here that are specialized in certain subjects, which is the beginning of the future of developing our children so they can go off and be great as we know they can be great. I appreciate you. Keep doing your work. Keep your crown straight, because we are proud of you. Extending her contract or whatever we're looking to do would be a blessing to this entire community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Dr. Patty Merck.
Good evening.
Madam President, Superintendent, Dr. Portillo, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Battle, and all the esteemed members of the board and the community. I'm here my name is Dr. Patty Merck. I work at the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension, which is located in A5040. We've been here forever, and we have been operating and helped create with you, the district, the University of Arizona Roosevelt School District Early Childhood Family Resource Center. And as I was watching the presentation before about the reading progress and reading scores, I was so encouraged because our program helps those babies and toddlers and preschoolers and parents understand and bring together the importance of phonemic awareness, the importance of learning communication from the start, and helping the community come together to understand that what we do early in education matters, those birth to 5 years, and prepare those students to become your students in the district. So along with that, most recently, I've had the pleasure to meet weekly with Dr. Portillo and Dr. Battle as we transition King to a community, a more open community center as we move forward. And I'm really, really encouraged by what I see, how that's going and how that's progressing. And so we're all working together to help improve that whole neighborhood and help it be accessible to the community and help to transition people to Julian, and we're all working together. So it's just really heartwarming to me to be a part of that and also to continue. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've made a few presentations before the board, and it's just been really a wonderful experience. And I'm so encouraged with the bright future that I see ahead and the wonderful progress that lies ahead with reading in particular and math and whatever we can do. We actually teach the parents how they can work with their children with math, as 1 and 2 year olds on up. So that said, I'm in full support of continuing Dr. Portillo's contract to help us to all work together to continue to progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Tamara Floyd. Okay. Oh,
So April Fools. I am not.
surprise.
I am not Tamara Floyd, but April Fools. My
Okay,
name is
please
Thomas
state-
Claiborne.
Thank you. State your name for the
I filled
record.
one of these out. If she told me to speak in her place, so my name is Thomas Claiborne IV. And she stated that she wants to affirm the continuation of Dr. P. What she has started is a good thing, and continuing moving in the right direction is important. Those were her comments. And then for me, I just heard that leadership matters, and I would like to continue and add on to that and say consistency matters. And the fact that there has been so much effort and energy put into building team collaboration with community partners. And for me as a community resident and community partner, I think it's important. I think Dr. P has showed and displayed exemplary leadership skills. I've witnessed her hosting the Right to Read workshops. I've witnessed her being in the community, working with the community. And lastly, I just say I think she has the proper lived experiences that will be good for this district and to continue on the leadership that's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. And for our final public comment tonight is Ms. Maria Valenzuela.
Bring my notes. Good evening, Madam President and members of the board and Dr. Portillo and community. Thank you. My name is Maria Valenzuela, and I am the new Executive Director for Spaces of Opportunity. And I am here to share the importance, along with leadership matters. I think representation matters as well. And I am here in favor of continuing Dr. Portillo's contract. I've just recently met her, as she was also, she was there at Spaces of Opportunity, very engaged in, as you all know, Spaces of Opportunity, the land belongs to the school district, and I have not heard or been around another superintendent that has the heart that Dr. Portillo has for the community, for the children, for the families that she served. And the whole 2 hours that we were there, it was cold, it was windy, and she kept saying, how do we get the parents engaged? How do we get this Spaces of Opportunity to be a community land for the children and their families? So along with that, that's what we are working for. So next year you will see more engagement. You'll see your families, the children, at Spaces of Opportunity, along with you all, hopefully. And so anyhow, I'm an alumni of Roosevelt School District. I appreciate all of the hard work that you all do. Many, many years ago, I was a student that some members of the community were out here supporting us. So I appreciate what you're all doing for the families. I can see myself as a little girl back then, and I can see the moms of the community as my mom was once. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our presenters. We do welcome public comment. Next item on our agenda is reports, and I will pass it to Dr. Portillo for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, executive team, and Roosevelt community. I do want to thank our members of the community for your kind words and encouragement. Thank you very much. And before we start our superintendent's report, I want to call Principal Cristina Bhattacharya to the podium. She has something special to talk about her school to share with you, and then also a small token of awesomeness for you.
Madam President, Governing Board, Dr. Portillo, Executive Team, and Community. Thanks, Nate. So we had our Cesar Chavez Day celebration on Friday. Dr. Portillo was able to attend, and we had a school assembly where we honored students who earned an award for demonstrating Cesar Chavez's core values. We also had a soccer tournament where some of my colleagues sent their students to really just be rooted in community. And it was a beautiful day. We had Radio Campesina there, which is from the Cesar Chavez Foundation. And it was a lovely day to eat lunch outside. And so a long time ago, I signed up for my token of awesomeness for this day. So that way I could present you guys with some Chavez shirts. And then I'm sorry, exec team, I need your sizes. So we can get you some as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And just a reminder to you all, and then also to the community, the token of awesomeness represents a connection for you, the board, to always remember that the work and the decisions that you make here on the dais has direct impact on the students that we have the pleasure and the privilege to serve. So thank you, Principal Bhattacharya. Okay. So we wanted to introduce you to a new crop of principals that we will have starting with us next school year. So, oh, yes, after recommended approval by you, the board. But I did want to introduce them to you. So we had Ms. Sylvia Miller, who will be serving as principal once approved. At Irene Lopez, we're recommending her for approval. She has more than 2 decades of experience in education. She is also an alumni of the Roosevelt School District. Her journey began as a classroom teacher, where she spent 11 years inspiring young minds and cultivating a love for learning. She's driven by a passion for leadership. She served in various leadership roles after leaving the classroom, including instructional coach, assistant principal, supervisor of preschool and student records, and most recently, director of early childhood and literacy. Ms. Miller believes by fostering a culture of high expectations, collaboration, and continuous improvement, Roosevelt can create an environment where every child can excel academically, socially, and emotionally. All right. Next, we have Ms. Crystal A. Danzy. She is a native of Detroit, Michigan. And she will be serving as our innovation planning principal at Maxino Bush. She earned her bachelor's degree in education at Eastern Michigan University. Later, she earned her master's degree in principal certificate from NAU, Northern Arizona University. She started an alternative high schools. Oh, sorry. She started teaching in 2001, and her love for teaching literacy led her from elementary and middle school classrooms to an alternative high school as a reading specialist, where she later served as principal before becoming the director of credit recovery for the district. She has spent the past 7 years transforming teachers' and students' perspectives on learning, growth, and achievement. And not here today because he is out of state is Dr. Michael Cruder. His career in education, spanning primary, secondary, and higher education, is a testament to his exceptional achievement. For 38 years, he has received numerous awards, including 2 A-plus school principal awards and a Golden Bell. Dr. Cruder's success working with highly gifted and disadvantaged students is unparalleled. His distinguished background has prepared him to continue his legacy here at the Roosevelt School District. And not as principal, but recommended for approval as the new Director of Athletics, Safety, and Student Discipline, we have Ms. Doris Simmons. She has been a dedicated school administrator in Arizona since 2018, bringing a wealth of experience from her background as a Division I athlete, a collegiate coach, and a military veteran. She holds a master's degree in organizational leadership and administration and supervision. She blends academic excellence with real-world leadership. Her approach centers on using athletics and discipline as a powerful coaching tool to build character, structure, and a strong school culture. A passionate advocate for accountability and student growth, she looks forward to supporting and collaborating with fellow leaders to strengthen our schools, empower students, and elevate our community. And next we have Mr. Melvin Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell will serve as the principal at Valley View. He is a dedicated and experienced principal with a deep-rooted passion for fostering academic excellence and creating inclusive learning environments. For more than 15 years, our Milwaukee native is deeply committed to student success, instructional excellence, and school leadership through data-driven initiatives to improve achievement. Mr. Mitchell collaborates with the staff teams to design and execute plans that improve strong relationships with students, families, and community. He serves to efficiently manage and provide resources for students in underprivileged communities, and he also has experience with Leader in Me, as both schools that he has led at were Leader in Me schools. And not here today. He is in Tucson, and he was not able to come up here because he had a different commitment today. Is Mr. Louis Robles. He is eager to bring enthusiasm for student success and community engagement to our community. He holds his bachelor's and 2 master's degree. He's currently pursuing his doctorate degree in educational leadership, reflecting his commitment to lifelong learning. After spending more than 10 years in the classroom, he served as an instructional coach and assistant principal before becoming principal for the past 5 years. His approach focuses on fostering academic excellence through project-based learning, STEM education, and a robust arts curriculum. Welcome to our newest principals. Again, after you approve. All right. So we had record-breaking engagement in our annual climate survey. In alignment with Superintendent Guardrail number 2, the annual climate survey engages staff, parents, and guardians and students to gather valuable insights. The survey was conducted by the Student Wellness Department under the leadership of Ms. Malika Wadley, aiming for a participation rate of 50% among guardians or parents, 80% among students, and 80% among staff. The survey results soared beyond expectations. As of March 29th, 2025, student and staff response rates reached an impressive 156% of the goal and 108% respectively. Additionally, parent participation exceeds targets at Jorgensen and Campbell, making a significant success in community engagement. District parent response nearly doubled from last year. So we're very excited about that. As you all know, that information will be helping us to develop new guardrails once we meet the guardrails we've engaged in already, and then also will help us in the planning and the strategic planning process that will start in May. All right, and then Sunland shined. I know I sent pictures to you all. This was so beautiful. Sunland shines with Finding Nemo the musical. Roosevelt School District is beaming with pride as we celebrate the phenomenal staff and students of Sunland for bringing Finding Nemo to life in yet another outstanding musical production. Last week, we had the privilege of experiencing this breathtaking performance firsthand. In alignment with Superintendent Guardrail number 2, The Whole Child, RSD continues to expand after-school programs, enriching students' academic, social, and emotional growth through the arts and beyond. And thank you. That's all I have for my report today.
Thank you so much. And pending approval, welcome to our new principals and new staff. Are there any comments from the board or questions? Okay. The next item on the agenda is our board member update. Any updates, board members?
Madam President, just that I know that it is ASA testing season, so a huge shout out to our administrators and teachers who are testing your students right now. We know that it is both the most stressful and just the most stressful time of year, as you are really just like the Super Bowl is happening in your classroom every single day. So just thank you for all of the work you've put in to get to this point. And, we are thinking of you, and best of luck to you and your students.
Thank you for that. Next item on the agenda is item 4.03, and it's REA report, and I'll pass it to Dr. Portillo.
Thank you. I'd like to call to the podium is Dr. Martha Thomas to provide the REA report.
Take your time.
Good evening, Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Portillo, executive team, our REA and RSD colleagues in our South Phoenix community. I'm Martha Thomas, social worker and president of REA. Currently, we have 354 members. We would like to congratulate our two newest executive board members, Ms. Charmaine Woods, a teacher at Campbell School, and Mr. Eric Standback, teacher at Davis. We now have a complete executive board, which I am really excited about. We are currently preparing for our delegate assembly, which is coming in May. It'll be May 9th and 10th. Getting ready to prepare and vote for our members at the AEA delegate assembly. We are also in the process of putting together a celebration movie night for our members, our certified members, to celebrate them in all of their hard work. And we are also putting together our retirement dinner, which we do every year for all of our members who end up retiring. Just to kind of oversee all of the comments and kind of in line with our great superintendent that we have. As REA, and I will share with you in all the conferences that I go to, for our associations throughout the state. We are the only district, the only association that has the relationship that we have with our superintendent and our board. And that is absolutely phenomenal. No association in our state of Arizona, and that includes other states, have the relationship that we have with you and our superintendent. And I know a lot of our guidance and all the time that I have been with Roosevelt, this has been the best relationship that we have had as an association. And a lot of our successes have been with our relationship with you, Dr. Portillo, and all of our executive team. They are an amazing team. Thank you all for what you do. And we can't do it without her. And so anything we can do to help and support, we're here to do that for all of you. Thank you. Any questions you might have for me?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item on our agenda is reinventing Roosevelt. For some that do not know, we did vote to close schools at the end of last year. And so as a part of that, we request an update monthly at our regular scheduled board meeting about how that progress and process is going. And so I'll now pass it to Dr. Portillo.
There's a lot of love in the room. Thank you. So, reinventing Roosevelt. So this is our update. And sorry, I composed myself a little bit.
Thing two, we'll step right in. Here we go, Doc. We love you. So starting off, as you've seen and heard and alluded to, that a lot of good work has gone into prep, and it's our opportunity to give you an update on the Reinvent Roosevelt. And Governing Board, we appreciate you for your support and dedication to that end. So leadership, as we've heard, matters, are committed to serving students and family and staff and the entire South Phoenix community. Our vision, a community united to create better futures for all through education. And we see that exemplified on a regular basis. So, going fast there, say with me, Nate. So get involved, attend board meetings like today, share your thoughts, provide feedback, hold district accountable to its adaptable goals and guardrails. And thank you all for staying with us so you can hear what it is we're about. We want to continue to be transparent, and we appreciate you, board members. Partner and collaborate to help move our students forward. Updating our community is what we want to do regularly, but we also want you to let us know. So with that said, we have a few things that we're going to bring to your attention with the support of our colleagues to share a little bit about what we're up to. And we're going to talk about Elon Tech, moving company, project manager who's present. You'll get a brief intro of him and his wonderful talent. Our update on transportation, parent meetings, and I'll provide that. And of course, we'll hear more about the superintendent's advisory group that continues to grow and expand. So with that said, Mr. Gonzalez.
Madam President, governing board members. As you've heard, Reinventing Roosevelt has a lot of moving pieces. So one of those pieces is actually moving the stuff around the buildings. Rather than attempting to figure out all those logistics and the labor associated with that, we are planning, pending your approval later on tonight, to contract with this company, Elon Tech, who does a lot of that movement for us. And because our auditors are in the audience, yes, we followed proper procurement rules.
Very good. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Gonzalez. So moving forward, I'd like to have Mr. Gabe McDaniel just stand up, please. He's adding to an already, he's going to be our project manager, so you approve this evening. That would be outstanding. And also he'll be tag teaming with Bob and myself as we prepare our school district for the future. A few things I'd like to share about Mr. McDaniel in my notes. He's an engineer by trade. His degree is a BS in mechanical engineering, technology, aeronautical sciences. Very talented and very skilled in multiple places. He did a fantastic job in the interview. Some of the positions that he has held include factory director, production manager, engineer, manager, processes engineer, and again, design is his trade in building and construction and managing and project managing. And so we're going to get along great. So I appreciate you and your expertise, and welcome to the family. Next slide. So transportation, as you all have heard from Mr. Jason Kyle. And so we've had opportunity to share with the community just last week, I believe, as an update about what we're up to and a few things just to highlight. Very thoughtful planning and again, transparent and evident throughout already. So we appreciate his experience. Building stronger community connections is what we're focusing on. Optimizing routes and efficiency, as well as enhancing student safety, including clarifying student discipline and transportation and guidelines. So this is a collective effort, not just solo, but already he's demonstrated great leadership within the department and also expanding out into the community. So we've got some parent meetings to be scheduled. He's already attended a few cafecitos. He's partnered with Magali and the community relations team to ensure that he's out to listen and learn. So we're going to see great just enhanced transportation with your leadership, and we want you to know that you're going to be well pleased with his efforts. Next slide, please.
All right, so thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So we had the opportunity last week to meet with the Superintendent's Advisory Group. The Superintendent's Advisory Group is composed of approximately 25 members. I know that sometimes we'll have a few less and sometimes a few more from the community. So we invited members that represent our religious leaders in our community, parents, community groups, our executive team is outside of those 25 members, right? Because we're already here, but they were present there presenting the community update that relates to their area of leadership. We also have some REA representation there, and we also have principal representation, as well as parent representation and members of the business community. So we try to be very diverse in the invitations that we sent out so that we could have a holistic view and feedback from them. At that meeting, I would say that the general feeling was very positive. I know a couple of the community members reached out to a few of you to talk about what they experienced, and we gave them all of the updates that we've been working on. I think the biggest highlight was Ms. Chanel Alexander and her announcement of the efforts we're making to recruit the most talented teachers in the state. Right now, we're tied as one of the top beginning salary districts for our teachers, so we're really excited about that. And definitely have one of the best packages when it comes to our ESS teachers as well. So we're really excited and proud of that. And again, we are one of the few districts at this point, as everyone is concerned about the drop in birth rates and competition that's out there for students. We're one of the few districts that not only that we're able to work our finances in such a way and address the financial hardships that we were facing in such a way that we are able to not only keep all of our teachers, but also added additional teaching positions. We also added additional opportunities for students when it comes to higher level math classes. We're also adding flag football for next year, additional STEAM classes that we hadn't been able to fund in the past. And then again, the ability to have that additional teacher on every campus to deliver intervention is something that our principals have been asking for a long time, which we just were not able to afford before. In addition, we gave all of our teachers raises, which is very unique. Right now in the situation that we're in, as a district. And then also we prioritized those hard to fill positions in ensuring that we have a strategy to try to save the district money in the long run by making those positions more attractive, providing more training in those positions. Those would include our higher level trades. So, oh, yay, thank you. There's our flyer that got the most applause in the meeting. And also in our higher level trades, right, being able to provide that additional compensation for our higher level trades will help us to maintain those positions filled with the most qualified techs. Make sure that our buildings are comfortable for our students and staff, that those air conditioners are fixed, especially as we get ready for the summer season. And then also ensure that we have the most qualified drivers and transportation department members to ensure that kids get here safely and are able to operationalize the vision that we have for transportation. In addition to working on helping us to be less dependent on outsourcing our paraprofessional positions, right? So we gave a significant increase there as well as part of the strategy to lessen the impact of outsourcing on our Medicaid funds and the rest of our on the rest of our budgets. All right. And did you want to add something? Yes.
Thank you. I'd be remiss not to also call out the Facilities Committee under the leadership of Bob Lucas. And as Dr. Portillo shared, and we also heard earlier, we will have a transition of furniture, but also new furniture that will need to mostly go into Sunland, so it's fully equipped. But again, a great assessment was done, upgrading and refreshing our fire systems, flooring, restrooms, and should you approve the purchase tonight, we'd be really thankful so that we can continue that effort. I think Dr. Rote would be really excited about that as well. And then also planning the future of collaborative sports fields for use. I know Dr. Nick Oviedo, as well as Mr. Pettit, are really creative in working with Bob about using our facilities right now for sports. And also just the aesthetics, the landscape. We're dedicating some funds to help support that. So again, your support and approval would be outstanding to that end. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? All right, hearing none, moving on. The next item on the agenda is item 5.01 is approval of the consent agenda, items 5.02 through 5.18. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to our new principals and our new staff. Next item on our agenda is item 6.01 is the request for employee benefits, and I believe we will have a presentation, so I'll pass it to Dr. Portillo.
Thank you, Madam President. We are requesting approval for employee benefits for the 25-26 fiscal school year. As a reminder, we do have an agreement with ASBATE for the current year and the upcoming year. We do have representatives from Gallagher and ASBATE that I'd like to invite to the podium so that they can present the highlights of the new benefits package.
Good evening, President Hodge, Superintendent Dr. Portillo, members of the board and the executive team. My name is Lisa Weston. I am your account executive with Gallagher Benefit Services, and it's my pleasure to present to you this evening the employee benefit package recommendations for the 25-26 plan year. As a large district that spends in medical benefits alone over $7.4 million. This is an incredible fiscal responsibility of the district in order to provide benefits to your employees. And in the package that I'm presenting today, we're delighted with essentially where we've come financially in the presentation. We do have some benefit changes and adjustments and some minor adjustments that I'm going to go over and present. But I also have in attendance with me the team from Asbate Meritain to answer any questions relating to any sort of plan changes that are being presented, specifically relating to your medical benefits. Number one, as we're looking at the screen, I know it's very, very small and very wordy. I apologize for that. It's a lot of benefits you guys give. So first and foremost, we are recommending approval and continuation of offering the Banner High Deductible Health Plan A plan that you currently have in place, keeping no rate and no network changes. Also continuing to offer the Classic Gold Plan and the Copay Gold Plan as currently offered to your employees. We're also recommending the addition of a fourth medical plan that is called the New Value Silver Plan. And we'll talk about what the idea, the concept behind offering an additional plan opportunity for your employees to select from. We also provide a recommendation to continue offering your retirees the opportunity to select the High Deductible Health Plan A, as well as the Value Gold Plan as an opportunity to continue their benefits upon retirement from the district. We're also recommending a new addition this year is International Medical Solutions. We're excited to bring this opportunity as a consideration because what it will do is provide your employees who enroll in this benefit the opportunity to access the Mexico Provider Network. So if employees are currently traveling to Mexico for receiving any sort of medical care or prescriptions, they're actually able to engage and utilize a medical solution for that. So actually a plan that they can receive those services at a highly reduced cost. And that benefit alone, if it is offered as a voluntary benefit, if for employees who elect it, would be an additional $6 per employee per month, and it would cover them as well as their family members that they have enrolled with them. So I believe it is an incredible opportunity for employees who are perhaps engaging or driving that distance already to expand the services that they're already receiving. We did have a minor increase in your dental plan this year, a 3% increase in rates for both your PPO and your prepaid dental. But I have to be honest, for the rest of the benefit plans, we are delighted to present that there are no increases to any of the other benefits that we're presenting, including your vision plan, accidental death and dismemberment, voluntary life, short-term disability, employee assistance program, telehealth, employee savings account, FSA, COBRA, as well as your voluntary supplemental benefits. So we're delighted to say that employees will not see any sort of impact to that. As we move to the next screen, I'd like to bring forward, these are your current Meritain benefit plans that you're currently offering. You're offering 3 benefit plans. Currently, again, like I had mentioned, we're going to be offering a 4th. And I'd like to, and what we're doing is looking at the plans as they currently sit. As you can see what the deductibles are and how they're currently designed. As we move 2 screens forward, I would like to present what the new plan designs are beginning with the 25-26 plan year. With the Meritain plans this year and Asbate plans this year, there is an overall increase in deductibles and out-of-pocket max, as well as overall increases of $30 to co-pays on all plans that are being presented by Asbate Meritain. Now, we are saying that there is no increase to the cost to the district. There is no increase to that premium, but there is an increase to what the employees are going to be paying at the time of receiving services. So these plan designs were provided and presented by Meritain in this renewal cycle this year, and we're presenting them as an opportunity to discuss them and see what your thoughts are to this. We are presenting the 4th plan option, the additional new plan, as an opportunity for employees to have a way to draw down premium while considering a way to also find enroll an additional PPO plan, meaning a copay plan, one that they don't have to hit a deductible first. So in offering, moving from a 3-plan option currently to a 4-plan, this gives employees essentially 3 PPO plans. Again, they can get a prescription or see a doctor starting day 1 of the new plan year with just meeting a copay versus having to meet a deductible on the high deductible health plan. So we're giving them more opportunity with seeking an opportunity to draw on some additional savings. If we can move to the next slide, please. So as you're looking at this slide, again, very busy, these are the highlighted in yellow are the plans that we're presenting. What I would like to point out is anywhere you see noted in blue on this page is essentially where there has been a plan change or an adjustment to the deductible or to the copay. So I'm essentially letting you know that the plan designs, this does look very different, but the goal is to make sure that employees still have access to really competitive plans. Even with a plan that has a $540 deductible or even an $1,100 deductible comparatively to non-school district offerings, these are still very competitive plans on the benefit market. So I would like to ask the board if they have any questions specifically, and I'm happy to bring the Asbate Maritime team to address any comments or questions relating to these plan design changes.
I have a question. So help me understand or remind me, Dr. Bercio, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought that the 2-year we were locked in. So none of our rates were changing. And it sounds like the rates are changing for our staff for their copays.
So I'd like to answer that. So the 2-year rate guarantee, the rate guarantee that was provided this year was specific to rates. The rate guarantee was not specific to plan designs. So there was no increase to the premium as presented this year. So we maintained the same premium that we were presented last year. But that was the rate lock was specific only to rates, not plan designs.
Thank you for the clarification. Are there any other questions from board members?
Okay. Well, it's my pleasure to present this as an opportunity this year, and we're delighted that we're presenting this package, a fully well-rounded package for your employees to consider this year. One other thing I did want to mention is with the numerous plan changes, Gallagher is fully committed to helping your administration take on the lift this year of communicating. One of the services that we offer that is a value-added service to your district is what we call a benefit advocacy center that allows employees to reach out and to speak to a benefit specialist one-on-one for any sort of support and guidance on plan design. So somebody can reach out, anybody, your employees, their dependents can reach out and say, I don't really know what plan is best for me. They can get one-on-one support from the Gallagher team to assist them in the opportunity or of selection of their plans. So in addition to the Benefit Advocacy Center we're activating this year, we're also doing recorded brain sharks. We have an open enrollment event that is actually going to be held here in the boardroom right at the time of open enrollment, where we'll be bringing in carriers as well for employees to meet with and be able to engage and ask questions. And then your benefit website as well. So we have a commitment to support you throughout the open enrollment process and to do the heavy lift about educating your employees about one of the most important decisions that they have to make. It's choosing their benefit plans that is really shouldn't be taken lightly because it can have such an impact on their health and finances. So that's my presentation.
Thank you. Or do you have a question, Dr. Battle? Okay. Dr. Bird, do you have a question?
Was there any opportunity for employees to give feedback on any of the changes in Blue?
Madam President, governing board members, no, as Lisa probably could elaborate on this a little bit. We got this very late in the year, two weeks ago. It just handed us, so we evaluated it, threw it on the board agenda as that, but truthfully, there wouldn't be enough time. I mean, this is what we got. So no, we did bring it up to our REA president, though. I've talked to Dr. Thomas about it already last Thursday.
Thank you.
So for future reference, is there an opportunity for us to have a conversation with it prior to us having to vote? Because it sounds like we're pressed for time, and so we have to vote tonight.
Madam President, governing board members, in the future, there should be. Again, this time it wasn't us. It just, that's the way it ended up on the ASBE side.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. And so now we get to vote on the approval for employee benefits. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. I'm like, sorry, let me back up. I'm abstaining from the vote because I'm actually on the Arizona School Board Association Insurance Trust, which is ASBE. So I'm abstaining from the vote for the record. And it sounded like we had Dr. Frankowitz, Ms. Pena, and Ms. Castro Carrillo in favor. Are you in favor or are you opposing?
I'm going to abstain as well.
Okay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item 6.02, approval for the board to accept a single audit USFR compliance questionnaire and annual comprehensive financial report for the year ending June 30th, 2024. I will pass it to Dr. Portillo.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, executive team, and Roosevelt community. I'd like to invite our auditor, a representative from Stiefel, to present the findings of from Heinfeld Meach. I apologize. I was thinking about the bund. Heinfeld Meach. I apologize for that. To present to you, as a reminder, this item will require a roll call vote at the end of the presentation after all your questions are answered.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Portillo, executive team, and community members. My name is Joshua Jumper. I'm an audit partner with Heinfeld Meach, and it's my pleasure to be here to present the audit results for the district's annual audit for the year ended June 30th, 2024. So I will keep my comments brief, but I do have a few slides that will guide my comments, but I do encourage you, if you have any questions about the audit process or any of my prepared remarks, please ask them. So just to highlight at a high level, the audit summary. So we are the district's external auditors. Your audit firm is procured through competitive proposal process. Fiscal 24, the audit year I'm presenting on, was the third year of our audit contract. So to touch on the audit timeline, so again, we are speaking to June 30th, 2024, so looking backwards, you're currently in fiscal 25. The engagement letter was issued in August of 2024 that begins the audit. We came on site in September to perform some preliminary audit procedures, and then came back out in November to perform additional audit procedures. And the two different visits on site are mainly due to we need to come back out after the district's financial records have been closed out, and the annual financial report, the AFR, is submitted to the state, which is due in October. So our audit test work was completed in January. The draft of the audit reports provided to management for their review in February, and the audit reports were issued in February as well. So what is the annual audit? So gonna speak to the 4 documents that are included in your packet, but the communication to governance letter, I'll touch on that in a minute. The annual comprehensive financial report, that is the district's audited financial statements. The single audit reporting package reports on the district's expenditure of federal grants. So the federal grants that the district receives must be summarized and reported back to the federal government. And then lastly, the Uniform System of Financial Records Compliance Questionnaire, USFR. This is a state requirement, so all school districts in the state of Arizona have to have their external auditors fill out this questionnaire and submit it to the Auditor General of Arizona. So I'm going to touch on all those a little bit more in depth, but just to summarize, what's the audit entail? It's those 4 items in your agenda packet. And so what is the scope of audit services? So we perform an audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, government auditing standards, and uniform guidance. So essentially there's a lot of rules and regulations we follow as the external auditors. And then also we have to comply with state reporting requirements and fill out and complete the USFR compliance questionnaire for the district. So this slide is just to talk at a high level of responsibilities of what we do as the external auditors and what's management's responsibilities. So just letting you know, as part of the annual audit, we have fraud communications, or we inquire knowledge of fraud or any concerns of fraud. That is part of our standard audit procedures. But just know that the ultimate goal of an audit is not to detect fraud. It is just part of our standard process to inquire about it and ensure if there was something that we're aware of it. And then ultimate responsibility for fraud at the district rests with management and its board. And then our audit is designed to provide reasonable but not absolute assurance. That is that qualifier all auditors provide when speaking about the audit. And then the financial statements that are included in the ACFR is ultimately the responsibility of management. So audit adjustments. We are required to report to the board if there were any audit adjustments from misstatements that either were corrected due to audit detection or just uncorrected at all. Pleased to report that no items met that criteria for the year. So great news, positive news. Other required communication that's in the letter, but I'm just speaking to you verbally in this presentation. We had no disagreements with management over accounting, reporting, or other audit matters. The management provided and signed the representation letter at the conclusion of the audit, which allows us to issue our audit opinion on the financial statements. And then we are continually looking at compliance related to ethical requirements and such as independence that the district's required to adhere to. So the annual comprehensive financial report, the ACFR, that is the district's audited financial statements. Just a few page highlights. I do not plan to go into that report in detail. It is quite lengthy, but just note on page 15 is the actual independent auditor's report. It's our opinion. Our opinion was unmodified, which is the technical accounting term. The non-technical accounting term is a clean audit opinion, meaning your financial statements are free from material misstatement. So a positive audit opinion. But just notating the other pages that highlight specific sections of the financial report, it is quite lengthy. If you are looking for very high level data, the management discussion and analysis provides in general verbiage the results of the year. And then I'll point to the back of the report, the statistical section that provides up to 10 years worth of data in a comparative matter. So that can provide you some trend lines if you're looking at certain figures. Single audit reporting package, which is reporting of federal expenditures, so spending of the federal grants that are received. So we had no material weaknesses in internal controls for the year, no significant deficiencies in internal controls. We did notate two findings over federal dollars, and one was on federal procurement, and one was just the journal entry process. And so those are reported in there, and there's also a corrective action plan that management completes and also attaches to that report. The USFR questionnaire. So this questionnaire requires us to look at a host of different areas and processes and procedures of the district. So just the overall procedures that the district has: accounting records, procurement, student attendance, travel records, purchasing cards, credit cards. So in total, there's 170 questions. We answer yes or no. It's black or white, yes or no. So if we find one transaction that did not meet USFR standards, we answer no. So I'm not going to speak to any specific questions in the report, but just there are 170 total questions. So anything that's a no means that there's an instance of noncompliance in relation to the questionnaire. I promised I would keep it brief. I hope I achieved that. But those are the reports that we issued for the year. If you have any questions for me about the audit process or any of the reports, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Are there any questions? Go ahead.
I just wanted to invite Mr. Gonzalez to explain the two federal findings and the remedy. And then our auditor is present also to make sure that we're staying accurate.
And I can touch on them a little bit if you'd like me to, Mr. Gonzalez, from my perspective.
Madam President, governing board members, sorry, was not prepared. Pulled it up now. So, yeah, for the first finding, oh, I lost the finding now. I have the remedies, but not the finding now. That's where we are. Okay, so the first finding was that vendors weren't checked for debarment, suspension, and the RFQ process didn't allow sufficient time for other quotes. So on the federal grants, there's a requirement that says just make sure the vendor on the federal side isn't debarred from or disbarred from doing any kind of work with us, right? They pulled a sample and we couldn't show them that whatever vendor we'd use, we had that documentation for. The second one was the RFQ process didn't allow a sufficient time for quotes. I mean, this was pretty broad in the district, and I think we've squashed this year, was that they would go out for, there's a requirement that above $10,000, you have to get 3 quotes. What was happening was they'd know who they wanted to hire, and then on Thursday say, hey, by noon tomorrow, get us a quote for the other 2. And they were like, yeah, that's not enough time. And that was the answer 90% of the time, or they didn't even do the work. So we've gotten out of that habit of doing that. So much, much earlier, we're asking for the quotes, given sufficient time to all of them, a couple weeks. So that was where we're fixing that this year on the corrective action side. And this is Eric Thompson's department. So Eric and our new hire, Rosie, are taking care of that piece for us. The second finding was that the journal entries didn't have an approval. And some of that was just, again, we were really, really short staffed last year. And just to get things through, some of our staff, our senior staff was putting stuff in the system, but they didn't have that second checker. And on every journal entry, you're supposed to have a second checker. So we've implemented that this year again. So I'm her second checker if that ever happens. But before that, it really shouldn't get to me. So we got first other people involved now in the process. And we're just about to a full department here in a couple weeks. So that should alleviate that issue even further.
Madam President, governing board members, Dr. Portillo, and community, thank you very much, Josh. I just want to commend the finance department for their work of what they have done as they are made aware of things. And as you can find, that those two areas are already remedied. So it's a matter of just keeping our practice in order. So we want to thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, for the work that you're doing with the team and your support in making Roosevelt better.
And I wanted to echo that as well. He's under his leadership, we've had a lot of systems that we've been able to put in place that have now led to the point where we are secure in the practices that we have on a daily basis, but then also that we're able to forecast as we financially plan for the district in the future. So I want to recognize him, his work, and the work of the team. And again, wanted to make sure that we are transparent with the community in sharing what those two federal findings were, and understand that we have the remedies in place, which have also been documented in the report that you received.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I know you've been in the trenches with us, and so we appreciate your work. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. The next item, oh no, I'm sorry, we have to vote. Just kidding. I'm going to pass it to, actually, I need a second. Is there a motion to approve the findings?
So moved.
Yes, we have to vote first. We have
A second.
Thank you. And now I'll pass it to Maricela to do a roll call vote.
Okay, Madam President, I will begin with the roll call. And I will begin with Dr. Ashley Hodge.
Aye.
Megan Frankowitz.
Aye.
Tatiana Pena.
Aye.
Michael Butts.
Aye.
Victoria Castro Brel.
Aye.
Madam President, item 6.2 has passed by unanimous vote.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action to approve the superintendent's contract for Dr. Daniela Portillo Verduzco for 2025 to 2028 and related performance pay plan. At this time, I'll take any comments or questions from board members.
Just to clarify, Madam President, if we have comments, are we making the motion and then making comments, or are we making comments and then making the motion?
Make comments and then make the motion.
I think I would just like to say, having worked with Dr. Portillo, the full extent of the time that we've been on the board, anytime that we're extending a contract, it is both an offer and an ask. And I think that, we are incredibly grateful for the work that Dr. Portillo has done and appreciate the community who've come tonight to speak. And that the idea of consistency and continuity within the district is important for families. It is important for students. It is important for teachers. And it is also an ask to say, you've committed to do a really challenging thing. You have been with the district to do a really challenging thing. And we're asking you to continue with us, to continue to do really great, hard, challenging things for the next few years. And we are really excited to be able to do that alongside you.
Madam President, Dr. Portillo, I do want to speak on, I remember the first time that I came to the board meeting. This is not me being a board member, but this is a community member. You were the first to greet me and welcome me to the community or just to the board room. So I just appreciate that. And just a theme that I saw going on was that representation matters, that leadership matters. But going back to representation, I just want to acknowledge I'm very grateful to have a superintendent who's a Latina, who's a woman for the first time in Roosevelt history. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you.
Dr. Portillo, I just wanted to share that it's an honor working with you, and it's good to have you here. And you are making some really difficult decisions. There's a lot that we've come from in this district, and I do see the efforts to make things better. And so I really appreciate that. And when things are in a good position in this district, we got to make sure that we do everything to continue that instead of the self-sabotaging, which is sometimes what was done in the past. So I appreciate your efforts and I appreciate the communication that you have with us board members when we have questions. I also appreciate the communication that you give towards the community. I know that the community is always wondering and always not always necessarily understanding every decision made, but I see that you take that very seriously of trying to get that clarified so that they understand the reasons that decisions are being made, and that that's coming from your heart with the real desire to do the right thing. So as long as you keep doing that, I'm in support. So.
Dr. Portillo, so for me, as a new board member, kind of being a part of the last three months, right, of decision making, and seeing how the leadership team executes, it's going to be, very interesting to see how this unfolds as far as our student success and achievement, and just the things that have occurred in our district over the last year. I'm excited to see that materialize. So. I appreciate the communication as well. And so thank you for the work and the decisions that you're making. You're welcome.
Thank you, board colleagues. And I'll go now. Last month, we renewed and issued contracts for our staff. And this evening, we are voting on the renewal of our superintendent, Dr. Portillo's contract. Over the past two school years, we have seen an increase in enrollment after experiencing a steady decline since 2007. Dr. Portillo has risen to the challenge of understanding what our students know and are able to do by fully embracing student outcome-focused governance. She welcomed accountability and even pushes as a board to challenge the status quo. SOFG is no small feat. It requires developing systems that drive adult behavior change to improve academic outcomes for our students. Roosevelt School District is a high-performing district, and our progress speaks for itself. Last year, we earned our first A rating in 9 years. Today, we have 1 A-rated school, 7 B-rated schools, and 8 C-rated schools. This growth is a testament to the incredible work happening across our district, and it is essential that we ensure continuity in leadership. Over a year ago, Dr. Portillo informed the board of financial challenges within the district. In 2024, we directed her to address these challenges, ensuring that we operated within our financial means while upholding our responsibility as stewards of district resources. Superintendent Garrow number 3 clearly states that the district budget resources should not be allocated beyond the revenue generated through enrollment for recurring expenses. Financial decisions must support student outcome-focused goals, contributing directly to academic success and long-term financial health. This process was complex and overwhelming, but Dr. Portillo led with grace, transparency, humility, and courage. As a board, we made the difficult but necessary decision to close and consolidate schools, in an especially challenging vote for me as a Southside kid and graduate of Roosevelt School District. However, we took this step to protect local control of our district and prevent receivership in the future. As a direct result of this decision, we were able to make significant investments in our staff. A $3,600 salary increase for teachers, a $2,000 annual stipends for math teachers, a $2,500 stipend for first-year math and science teachers, and Doris special area teachers will receive $5,000 yearly, a stipend in addition to the $2,500 first-year stipend. A salary step increase for all staff, substantial raises for bus drivers, paraprofessionals, and Category 3 maintenance professionals. Air conditioning professionals receive an additional $4,000 as an annual stipend. We're creating new programming for our students, including high school level math courses, flag football, and other STEAM opportunities. Yes, we voted to close and consolidate schools, but we did it for the long-term success for our district, and we are already seeing the positive impact. We still have work ahead, and as we transition, there is no better person to lead this effort than Dr. Portillo. I have full confidence that she will continue to lead with thoughtfulness, care, and consideration, ensuring that the transition is as smooth and minimally disruptive as possible. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Dr. Portillo. Oh, she does have to sign it. Just kidding.
She still has to sign it though, just.
I accept your offer. Okay. Up. The next item on the agenda is 9.01, adjournment. What, 6.04?
6.04.
What's that one? Oh, just kidding. Sorry, I guess I'm ready to go home. The next item on the agenda is item 6.04, approval for the request of the superintendent's performance pay plan for 2024 to 2025. It was an oversight and we did not adopt it last year. And so basically this performance plan that we are voting on approving tonight is based on the progress that we made thus far with student outcome focused governance. In the first year, we are instructed not to measure not to evaluate her based on where we are because it's our first year and we're learning a lot. And so we are not evaluating her based on progress or we're evaluating her based on the steps that she took to help us implement SOFG.
And Madam President, can I jump in?
Yes, you may.
And for community, Superintendent Portillo has also set up some interim guardrails that she has been presenting to us. She's been presenting to community. She's been presenting on that have been transparent to community, and we've been presenting on in study sessions. So that is also what part of the performance pay is based on.
Any other questions or comments?
I will add that I do appreciate that the performance pay plan includes our board goals. Going back with Dr. Portillo, congratulations on the contract. But I just want to highlight that Dr. Portillo's contract ends in 2028. And if you look at the wall, we do have our 4 board goals and they end in August 2028. So I'm really excited to see this through with the leadership and the consistency that our community is asking for. So Dr. Portillo, thank you, and the executive team.
Thank you so much. Is there any other questions or comments? With that, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, wait. Go ahead.
Madam President.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to highlight the April 18 study sessions because we will be discussing community forums where we do want to talk about the two-way communication regarding our board goals. So please hold us accountable and be part of this conversation with us and be part of this vision. Let's reinvent Roosevelt. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, now item 9.01, adjournment. Having concluded our business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.